Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. We are Missing Pieces, Kate and I. We are partners in Missing Pieces and are co-EPs, executive producers. And we have two very special guests with us. Jason Musante, creative director at Anomaly, and someone we worked with a lot on the Google Glass work. And Alon Benari, who runs Interlude, the interactive video mega awesome technology that rules the world.
That's right.
How's everyone's mics? Good?
1, 2.
1, 2.
Love it. We're going to make this lively. We're going to make this fast. It's going to be awesome. It's going to rock. There's energy.
Beatbox
I can feel that vibrations in the room.
Cue me on the beatbox. I will.
So just to get a read on the room, what do we have here? Is it like film people? Who's a film person? Who's a tech person? Who's a like marketing ad world person? Okay, so that's the majority. Okay, good. So
Vegans?
Vegans.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I have a whole special vegan presentation.
Vegans who like marketing but don't like to be talked to in special ways.
That's right.
Don't like interactive video, but do like
no meat in this
exactly.
presentation.
There will be no meat in this presentation. Okay, so for those of you who don't know Missing Pieces, Kate, why don't you do an intro to Missing Pieces?
Okay.
That way we both talk.
All right. So Missing Pieces is an integrated production company. We're based about 10 blocks away in Greenpoint, and we started out as a company that was focused on content in 2005. And if you guys remember what internet video was like in 2005, the players were all very small. It was like 144 pixels. And every time there was motion, you would get motion blur or data moshing, and it was really, really, really limited. But it felt like there was a lot of potential in the format and a lot of energy around it. And I think Ari is going to take you through some of the specifics of our early projects and where we came from. But over time, we evolved from a company that was really built to simply explore new possibilities into the production company that we are today, with 8 directors and a full-time staff that are really dedicated to creating branded content, commercials, and films.
That's right. And we're always thinking about what that really means. What does it mean to be an integrated production company now and in the future? So the theme really is this idea of revolutionary platforms and channels pushing us to become better storytellers. And what we found, let me see if I can aim this better. What we found, so I can click and talk, is that from the very beginning, we've been inspired by technology, right? So this is a pivotal moment for us, for the company. Steve Jobs announces the video iPod in 2005, and we, as storytellers, start to really feel that there's a possibility for a new format, and that really leads to this, which is Cool Hunting Video, which is the first. One of the first series that was, the kind of like video podcast series on the web that really pioneered a lot of things. It was the length of a pop song. It was shot in a very specific way to be played and viewed with headphones and in your original 320 by 240 video iPod screen. And it was, it was thought out for this very specific format. So from the very beginning, we have this intention to create content for a very specific place, in this case, the video iPod. And moving on, this is someone you know very well. This is Yoni Block, who is a musician, Israeli musician, also came up with this very cool interactive music video. And this is the thing that he showed me when I met him in 2011. And I was really blown away. It was really simple, and you could make these very basic choices, but it was seamless, basically. It was an embeddable, interactive player, and we're going to show you a little bit of how this works. But in it, you could just make these very simple choices of there was sax solo or drum solo or follow the girl or follow the guy, very simple choices. But you could see that the song, there was never any buffering. It was very seamless, and it was all taking place in a player, much like a YouTube player. So of course, as storytellers, once again, we get really inspired by this and start to think about how can this allow us to become better storytellers? And that thinking leads to this project, which was directed by Jordan Fish, who's sitting right there. Thank you, Jordan. And the result is a real groundbreaking thing where we created 25 minutes of content for a 3-minute music video that BuzzFeed named the #1 music video of 2012. And that was the year of Gangnam Style, which is a big deal. And we knew we had something special. People were playing it over and over again and trying to figure out all the permutations of it. And that really, the lessons and sort of what we felt was really powerful about this led to this project, which I'm going to show you in a minute, which is the Pepsi Now Is What You Make It interactive global spot. And so maybe, Alon, at this point, you could give us a very brief explanation of the basics of Interlude and how the technology works.
Okay. How the technology works? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares about how the technology works?
Right? I think the interesting thing to say about that, and you kind of touched that, Ari, most Israeli startups come from the military, I think. And we're kind of different in that. We're a bunch of creative people. We have a singer and a film director and a guitar player. And the whole idea behind this platform came from content first. And we wanted people to be able to leverage the fact that you're watching videos today on mobile devices and on computers. And these are two-way communication, platforms, right? And we're still watching video like they did in I Love Lucy. It doesn't make sense. We should be able to interact with the video. And when we say interact, it's not about having like add-ons and buttons and banners and second screens and stuff. You want to actually play with the content. And I think both the Pepsi ad and Chairlift are great examples of how you can, these are stories that can't be told in a linear fashion. And you can really explore this world. Somebody told us once, and it's nice, and with this I'll shut up, I think, on this. That if a regular video is like a curated ride, like a roller coaster, so the interlude video is like a playground. And we throw you into this chairlift world and we say, go ahead and enjoy it, explore it, and you can have, and everybody can have their own different experience. And besides the fact that it's fun and gamifying and stuff like that, it also gets people to watch it multiple times, which is a big challenge with online video today because people have a very short attention span.
Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and I'm going to play for you this video right off the interwebs because that's how I like to do it. I need to see the screen. And I don't want to give you my back. But so what I'm going to do is, everyone can hear me, right? I'm just going to play you the video without clicking on anything first so that you see what happens when you don't click on everything. Basically, at the beginning of the video, you're prompted to click on things, to leave the cursor there, and when the cursor changes, you can click on something. So you'll see the cursor turn blue. The first time we play it for like 20 seconds, I'm not going to click on anything, and then we're going to play it from the top, and we're gonna get to that moment in a little bit. And so this is what you encounter, right? And again, this is a embeddable iframe code, and I'm gonna make it full screen and allow it.
and just for one day.
Start to get a feel for what the potential is here, right? It was originally a 2-minute experience. We probably spent double that, and we didn't even get to unlock all the. We missed the samba scene, which is really good. I missed that because I was drinking water, but now you can go back and play it again and again. And so, what I want to show you here when we get to the end, you're always seeing like where you are in the experience, and when you get to this end screen, you can see. We've found 7 of 11 experiences, right? And so, again, we're still in this kind of embeddable world. One of the things that I really love about this, so here we can watch the extra films that we created. So if you just play one of these, it'll take you to it. Or you can go to Facebook and share the film, the version that you just experienced, and then your friends can play that version on Facebook, just like they would watch a YouTube clip inside of Facebook, which I really like. So you can really start to feel the potential of what this can do. What else can we say about this awesome project? Alon, what do you want to say?
That over almost 90% of the choices here were clicked. It was crazy. The engagement numbers that this got and the time spent on this video was extremely high. And this type of interactivity with the clicking and the cursor really, really worked.
And you're not just saying that because we're friends, right?
No, actually, I wasn't sure it was going to work. And
I remember that.
I remember there
was
with Jordan, and it worked. It was amazing.
Yeah. So.
Like 2.5, people were watching it 2.5 times on average. The engagement rate was 250%, which when you think about the conversations you have about getting an audience to watch even one entire ad on YouTube, and you're talking about 60%, 70%, can we get them to the end tag? These are people who are going back and watching it over and over and over again to get all of these experiences.
So you get a lot of this, people love to share this particular moment, and a lot of great excitement over social media. So we're gonna.
And these are all famous football players.
That's right.
We're all Americans,
For those of
so
you
we
who
don't know
know
who they are. But
I always assume that everyone in the room knows. All those people are more famous than the most famous U.S. Sports
Basketball
celebrity
player.
like LeBron James or whatever. These people have like billions of fans around the world. So we get to the final part of this storytelling and technology panel that we're doing, and then we're going to open it up to a series of sort of themes that we want to explore, like 5 or 6 themes. And this is Google Glass. Comes out in 2012, and we had the opportunity to work on this, which was the first time that you saw glass, how it feels through glass, which was, again, a really amazing experience. A new device comes out. We get really excited about it, and we have this opportunity as storytellers to try and figure out how to tell stories with this specific camera and technology. And it has this really wonderful thing, which is that it's eye level, right? So because the camera is right next to the eye, there's really magical moments that can happen with that eye level collaboration, right? And this is a project that we did, one of many that we've done with Jason, and maybe you can set up the sort of thinking at this point of and what the Explorer stories were, and then we'll watch Alex's story and then the little case study about glass.
Yeah, quickly. I mean, I think the themes are the same. I mean, the interlude technologies is a different way of kind of fracturing the narrative and turning over the assemblage of it to the community, whereas this story is what a little bit more traditional and more curated. We're going to take you through that experience. But I think in both cases, the rules or the laws, which we can talk about later if you choose to agree or disagree, remain the same. Story arc, narrative, buying into the character, believing in them, caring about them, that pivotal moment, they kind of like, you feel for them, they're champions, and then resolution, walking away with feeling either good or bad, or kind of moving you as a participant, as a viewer. So Glass came kind of was rolled out in a beta form in 2012, and those first few kind of users were called explorers, invited to participate for a variety of reasons, one of which the film we're going to see is Alex, who is a paraplegic law student. She had a really nice kind of expression of why she was interested in exploring with glass. She wanted to show that paralysis didn't have to be paralyzing, and kind of prefaced that with the fact that Google and Glass had opened up the ability to become an explorer by answering a tweet, #IfIHadGlass. So if I had glass, Alex's response was, I would show that paralysis didn't have to be so paralyzing. So with Google, we kind of found that story in, that's another way of thinking about curating and finding, stories is with adjunct technologies like Twitter. So we found that story and we reached out to her and we started to craft it with Josh Nussbaum, director, with Missing Pieces, and with Ari and Kate, and how glass would fit within her life and help to tell her story.
And it should be said that all these films are shot on glass.
That's right.
Being disabled is the first thing people see. And of course, it's a big part of my reality. But it's not who I am. It's not the only thing I am. Disability doesn't define me.
2 weeks ago, I became a glass explorer. It meant I could do things I thought I wouldn't be able to do anymore.
Take a picture. And that's forever.
The last time I tried to go camping was the time I was in a car accident. Okay, Glass. Google, what is a felling axe? And here I am, a year and a half later. This trip will be the first time I'm apart from a caregiver for more than just a few hours.
In 600 feet, turn left.
Glass allows me to regain that confidence. And when I overcome a challenge,
Hey, we're here.
like becoming the navigator,
That's how you did it.
I gain a little bit of that confidence I had before the accident back. And that doesn't go away.
We need marshmallow sticks.
Are there bears in the Catskills?
Take a picture.
Being here with my friends is really meaningful
Yeah, this is awesome.
because these people have supported me and been with me the whole time.
Okay, Glass, take a picture.
It's been amazing to feel a sense of independence and nature with people I love.
Okay, Glass, share with family.
I'm Alex Blashchuk. I'm a law student, an amateur photographer. I'm more than meets the eye.
It's definitely had a sales message to it, branded content, but it's a traditional 3-part act, core storytelling, but with the added dimension of glass as filming device, and Glass allowing Alex to not be the director. So kind of to your point about turning over curation of story to community, we actually kind of allowed her to be the director. The rules started to kind of go away and the lines started to blur. And I hope you feel and see that there were real moments, honest moments there where she felt empowered, and with the technology, yes, but also because she got to kind of tell her own story. She kind of got to direct that story, as it were. And I think because of that, she came out of her shell and she felt more invested, and it wasn't third person, us following her and, okay, do that and do this. She was able to kind of be empowered, and hopefully that kind of comes through in the film, and
Cool. So the next thing we'll see is a case study of the overall campaign, right?
That's right. So we've made quite a few of these films now, and we kind of wanted to package that up and kind of, I think it's a minute or so, and share that principle of how filmmaking potentially is changing, storytelling changing a little bit, as you add new technologies such as glass, untested, maybe unfinished. So here we go.
This was our camera. Our feet were the dolly. The sun was our light. And this was our crew. Our only camera was wearable and recorded footage at 720p. Our camera was Google Glass. And with this camera, the dolly, the light, and crew, we made a series of documentaries about some of the first people to get glass. We filmed a firefighter, Jay-Z's studio engineer, a pro tennis player at Wimbledon, a physics teacher at CERN, and an inspirational law student. It only made sense to document them using glass with glass.
Yeah, rolling.
Product was camera. Camera was product. Directors became subjects. Subjects became directors.
This tunnel's 27 kilometers long.
Sure, there was a learning curve. After all, this technology was brand new footage, or zoom, or change the focal length, so we just had to keep the camera rolling. But we were still able to make 5 films over 6 months, each in just a couple days. We figured out ways to follow firefighters rushing into burning buildings, or how to make people really feel like they were on center court. And people noticed. It got them thinking about what glass could do, and where glass could go. We were able to do all that with this.
That's great. So that brings us to our point, which I think, Kate, you can elaborate on.
Yeah, so I think that the thing that's always driven us is that we are really inspired by the way that new technologies are new tools for telling stories, and that every time we're confronted with one of these new technologies, I think Ari and I in particular, since we sit across from each other every day, look at each other and say, like, how are we going to be the ones to set the example with this new product or this new idea? And there are a number of things that we think about while we get into that, and a lot of questions that we ask ourselves, and I think that that's mainly what we're going to talk about today, is when the next interlude comes, how can all of us look at it, understand its potential, and then tackle it? And that is by far the most exciting thing that we do every day. I mean, I love filmmaking, but I think that the projects that we've always been the most proud of and the most excited by are the ones where there's been filmmaking, but there's also been an incredible new format challenge for us.
Yeah, and on that note, we're particularly excited about the possibilities with Oculus, in particular with live action 3D 360 filmmaking. And we've seen something that has really blown our minds and caused us to pursue a project that we hope to share with everyone really soon. So hopefully this summer we'll be working on something that will come out in the fall that will showcase the potential of this. We really believe, I mean, I gotta tell you, Kate can speak to this as well, when it's a truly immersive environment and you feel like you're there.
Have any of you tried Oculus yet? Yes. I think most of you have probably tried it as a video game experience, but I've actually never tried it as a video game experience. The thing that I saw was a live action experience where these 2 incredible independent directors from Canada created a live action camera that films 360 but also completely 3D, so that when you're in the experience, you kind of forget that you're not actually in that place, because everything is exactly proportional. Everything looks the same as it would if you were actually sitting in that room or standing in that place. And they've also done sound design so that the sound is completely 360, and that as you turn your head, if one of you clapped over there and my head was turned this way, I would hear you clapping behind me. So it's really fully immersive. It's really inspiring. The first time I saw it, I kind of lost my mind and couldn't stop talking for about an hour, and called Ari because I was by myself, and just sort of brain dumped everything on him, and then we actually have been connected with our friends at the Barbarian Group, so it sounds like we're going to be doing this next thing together. Fingers crossed.
Yes. So we have 5 little ideas to end with that we're just going to discuss briefly. The first one is this idea of platforms and channels. And by platforms, we talk about new technologies and methods of storytelling. You've seen great examples of that today. And by channels, we're talking about new distribution channels.
And I think we've been inspired equally by both of these. Like, I would say that Interlude is both a platform and potentially a channel. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we were curious.
You're shaking your head.
We were curious because we know there's a push for interactive music videos now, and there's a lot cooking, and just how you see it.
It's a big philosophical question. I think Interlude is definitely a platform and not a channel. I think going forward, people will want to have a place to find this type of experiences, and I think it will probably, crystallize into something. But I don't know. Distribution is kind of changing these days, and now you're seeing more things on mobile and connected TVs, and there's more aggregation. So I kind of believe that the interactive technology will actually spread across existing channels and not be a standalone experience. And I think part of its evolution is to be something that enhances video and not a niche of its own.
Right.
But I don't know. Time will tell.
Did anyone play the Bob Dylan interactive music video? That's also an Interlude project. And that's opened up a lot of doors and possibilities for what can be done as well in terms of like interactive music videos beyond just, the chairlift thing and a couple of others that have happened. So we'll continue to follow that and see where it evolves. The other ideas start from scratch. Kate, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm really curious for both of you, when you are looking at a new technology, and I guess this is more of a reaction from you, how comfortable do you find that people are letting go of what their preconceived notions of what interactive video can be, and letting go of sort of, while we all know that there are fundamentals of storytelling, but really considering what it means when you see a new platform?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's maybe a broader question about like the crash of technology and storytelling. And then I think there's, there can be fear, but and kind of like, whoa, movies are still great. Watching film is still great. The death of 30-second spots, you still see plenty of that. Movies still gross gazillions of dollars. There's even more content out there. Netflix, HBO. So does it need reinvention? There's nothing wrong. Well, I think I would reframe it as the core principles of storytelling probably will never change. We're human, organic. There's some coding in there that likes traditional storytelling. The thing that's so interesting and the thing that helps to get people to kind of open up and get over the hump and see the potential is the ability to have their view of storytelling or their view of filmmaking or their ability to interact with storytelling and filmmaking how they want to. So ceding control over to you as the viewer or you as the filmmaker in new, interesting, exciting ways. I think like once people who are a little bit hesitant to adopt or to be open to technology realize that those key fundamental points, they kind of relax and it allows you to like have a really interesting conversation and kind of keep moving the ball forward.
What makes a good story? It sounds like a simple question, but when we think about these new platforms and channels and technologies, what makes a good story in your mind?
So I have to agree with him that that I don't think that the platform and the story are two parallel things, and they're not. I think the best example is when, if you look at the first films that were done when cinema was invented, all the films were shot like from the best spot in the theater, and you have this long shot
Theater.
of the stage, and people would walk in, walk out, and I remember like in the theater, and then probably 25 years in, somebody said, "Wait, we can move the camera and we can have a close-up shot, and we can, edit."
Right.
And 40 years later, they said, "Wait, we can record sound and we have the technology." But either it's Romeo or Juliet, or Breaking Bad, or the next interactive feature or whatever it is. You want the protagonist. You want some kind of identification. You want a
hero's journey.
A hero journey, and there's a will and there's the conflict and blah blah blah. But I think the fundamentals don't have to do with the format.
Yeah. I think what I've seen happen in the process is that sometimes the challenges of working with a new technology can be so distracting that you sometimes get overwhelmed by that. And as a team, in particular for those of you who are in advertising, you can sometimes lose sight of what the story is in pursuit of doing something new. And I think that's why we see so many projects that you might look at and say, well, that's too gimmicky, and it's because the technology overwhelms the storytelling. And that's sort of our worst nightmare, is that we make anything where the story has been overtaken. And I think that's probably, in particular, when you're working with these huge sprawling teams on projects like Pepsi, it really takes the will of the director to keep people's eye on the prize, which is making something that's truly engaging, which, you're dealing with all of the challenges of making something that's engaging on a filmmaking level, but then you're also dealing with the challenges of making something where the interactivity is engaging as well, and doesn't just, it actually complements the storytelling instead of distracting you from it.
I think you answered this question a little bit on the glass front with methods of production. We saw that in the case study, but maybe we can talk a little bit about methods of production on the interlude side. Obviously, there's the obvious. It takes more time because it's more stuff. Yeah. But I think we've learned that there's a couple of other things that, and you coming from a filmmaking background can maybe speak to this as well. Other things to consider in methods of production.
I think, like anything in video, there's such a wide range of what can be done. You can shoot a film for no money, and you can shoot a film for $200 million. And I heard that on Avatar they were complaining that they don't have enough budget, and so it happens all the time, right? So same thing. I think you're always pushing the limit on production. And yes, when you're doing something that is interactive and immersive, like the Pepsi project, then you're creating 8 minutes of content instead of 3. But you can plan for it smart, and you can,
in the glass piece, that sentiment of like, there's no camera. I mean, I remember it was really weird. It was like the first set that we're on, and there's like no tech equipment. There's nothing. Right. It's just like this little thing. Yeah.
I mean, if you love storytelling and filmmaking and making creative content, whatever you want to call it, like, there's no better time than right now. Quick story. My grandfather was a kind of an amateur photographer, and when he passed away, we got all his stuff, and it was boxes and boxes and boxes of all this shit to like print like a little thing. Like you had to go and put a dark room and go da 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 da, right? So the exact same things happen with making film. There's no excuse. Like, this is the challenge to the room. There's no excuse if you have an idea or you want to make a film or you want to dabble in technology or do some coding. Like, if you're not doing it, then you're just lazy. There's no, like, get a 5D or even a 7 or your iPhone. Yeah. Like glass. Well, yeah.
It's really the same.
A little harder to get, but okay. But exactly, like, go make stuff. And we may not be able to change the fundamentals. Romeo, girl meets boy, girl doesn't like boy, boy does something stupid to get girl's attention, girl then likes boy, boy then loses interest, basically. Those things aren't going to ever change, and we're not going to, you as a maker or filmmaker or thinker or creative person or ad person or whatever you are, even if you just like tinker or you whatever, you want to leave your mark on something, at least I do. And so it's very hard to leave your mark on, we just invented the close-up. No, but we just found a way to do something with interlude, or we found a cool way to like POV storytelling, or we strapped something to our intestines, but I don't even know, but you know what I'm saying. So like, there's
I think we share the sentiment. That's why we like each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, we share the sentiment. I think we're running out of time, so maybe we'll open it up for the last 5 minutes or so for questions or thoughts, or and then we'll maybe just have like one or two final thoughts from us. Anything? Any thoughts, concerns? What's up, dude? Loud. Projection.
Because you were talking about Rift, I guess my specific question about that is it's still a device with a higher price point and requires you to be immersed in a reality other than your own. So, like, when do you see the cost of like full immersion products coming down to a point where the advertisement can yield the same number of impressions that you see through the Pepsi campaigns? And yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably the same question for Interlude 10 years ago. It's like, when is the video going to get good enough so that you can, do that thing, right? It will get there. And there's, with Oculus, I think the price point, the $200 to $300 price point, which is the projection, is not insane. I think glass is a little bit more luxury item. I think
I think
Oculus.
We're in a place right now where we're thinking about not producing Oculus content for this exact moment in time, but for the next 6 to 12 months when we expect it to roll out to the public and become a mainstay in gaming. And just like everybody has an Xbox, I think that everybody is going to, anybody who's interested in gaming is going to have some sort of VR device in their home. And what is exciting for us is, what does that mean for cinema? Because when I put that on, I really felt like I was watching a Charlie Chaplin movie for the first time.
Or Méliès or something like that.
Yeah,
like it feels like that. It's back to that, where it's like we're like in the 1903 and we're watching the moon, the bullet in the moon kind of thing.
It's kind of profound.
And I think things are moving so fast. It's like the progress is exponential. Think about the Kinect that used to be like this sci-fi thing 2 years ago, and now it's like standard in every Xbox, and or the iPhone.
Yeah.
You remember the Nokia? When people wouldn't want to switch and they would say, I like the settings, I like the menu in the Nokia, I don't want... And like, who remembers that? It was like 7 years ago.
That's a good point. Anything else? Cool. Well, I hope this has been interesting and informative and educational and infotainment. Was it infotainment? How would we put this? Thank you for coming. It means a lot. There's a lot of other things to do right now. So thank you for being here.
Including watching the World Cup.
Including watching the World Cup. What's the final score? 5-1. No. Netherlands beat Spain 5-1.
Wow, revenge match.
Revenge match complete. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao.